Hey guys, hope you're having an amazing day today. Let's talk about assets versus liabilities because I think it's a really important concept to understand if you want to live an abundant life, all right? So many of us, we are used to focus on liabilities, okay? We want to get maybe a big car or a big house, or you want to live a lavish lifestyle, all right? But all these things, they cost money, they cost energy to maintain. They're not really generating wealth or freeing up our time, okay? And this is a really important concept that I got from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's an absolute classic. It contains very practical, real life information that you can apply to your own life in order for you to live in a way that is not above your means, okay? Because many of us, we are used to living above our means. We spend more money than we actually have coming in, and that is causing us to experience all sorts of problems, right? Luckily, I was raised in a family that really didn't do that. My parents were never about that fancy lifestyle. My parents really cared about quality over quantity. They cared about good material, and yes, while it might cost a little bit more, it's actually, if you view it from a different perspective, an asset to buy a tool that is better quality, that lasts longer, than to invest in something that deteriorates faster, that's of lesser quality, because you will have to buy a new pair or a new set, and that in the long run costs more money. So my parents really taught me to invest in things that cost a little bit more but that last longer. So invest in quality. Now, what is the difference between an asset and a liability? Okay, a liability is something that costs either money, energy, or time to maintain. Okay, and it doesn't bring you anything of that in return. Okay, so for example, an expensive car is a liability. It depreciates the moment you buy an expensive car. The moment you drive out of the garage, it's already half the worth of its original price, okay? Because there is so much value in the newness of the car. So buying a new expensive car is a liability because it requires maintenance and it depreciates quickly, all right? So if you need a car as a means of transportation, it's way better to buy a second-hand car, because you can resell that car for probably around the same price, a little bit less if you do a lot of kilometers, but this then becomes an asset. Now, what is an asset? An asset is the opposite of a liability. It is something that brings you either money, time, or extra energy, and it doesn't require a net negative effect on that balance, okay? For example, a second-hand car that might get you to your workplace, okay? It requires money and time to maintain the car, but it gets you to your workplace, which allows you to earn money, okay? So it brings in more money. It helps you to bring in more money. So then it becomes an asset, all right? But if you buy an expensive car and it immediately loses half of its value because you drive it out of the garage, that is a liability. It's costing you a lot of money, right? So try to strip down the needs you have in your life and look for ways that you can minimize the cost, the maintenance, and the energy it requires to maintain these things, okay? Living above our means is a great example of that. Buying a house that is too large for us to live in, we can live in a small space comfortably. The larger your house, the more maintenance it requires, the more cost and energy and money it requires to maintain, all right? So that becomes then a liability, all right? And so I invite you to think about this concept of assets versus liabilities, because if the net amount of things in your life are closer to liabilities, that might be a huge source of a lot of suffering and a huge source of the scarcity and lack in your life, simply because it's sucking up money, it's sucking up energy, and it's not freeing up extra time, right? So you want to think about what can you do to change liabilities into assets, okay? Or what can you do to use your current resources and put them into something that will generate more of those resources, right? Let me give you an example. One of your biggest assets, okay, is your body, your mind, your intellect. So taking care of your body, your mind, and intellect is one of the best ways to maximize your personal resources, okay? So you might think, okay, let me save on healthy food because it's cheaper, all right? But in the long run, this will cause your health to deteriorate. And when that happens, okay, then your body will become a huge liability because it costs so much money and time and resources to recover. So it's way better to be preventive, okay, to invest in healthy exercise, healthy foods right now in order for you to prevent or avoid having to come up with a lot of extra resources to then fix the problem, okay? The life you're living today is the result of the life you were living 2 years ago. So you want to think a little bit ahead, okay? So another example is creating stuff, building things, all right? Building a business. This YouTube channel is a great example of an asset, okay? The YouTube videos are there, okay? It's sitting there. People are watching the videos. You discovered this channel to one of the videos that I uploaded, right? And hopefully you stick around and you watch more videos and you learn something from this. This is an asset. This YouTube channel is an asset that I'm building, right? I'm currently writing a book. Same thing. If you write a book, if it's finished, you have the asset. You can sell it. I can sell it to people who are interested in reading this book. I can market it, you know. This is a hard asset. It's a physical thing. Okay, I can make it into an ebook, but it's a product. It's something that can generate money, that can free up time, that can help people. This is an asset. So another example is skills, okay? Learning a skill that is marketable, that you can apply in the market where there is a demand for: coding, video editing, writing, influencing people. There is so many skills that are in high demand, and if you learn these skills, they can become a huge asset because people want to pay for that. People want to spend time learning from you. So there is a huge benefit of investing your time in developing some kind of skill. We all need some kind of skill. If you don't develop skills, you will end up being a very unsuccessful, a lonely, isolated person in your life, okay? It's crucial that you spend time learning and developing skills, because if you don't, time will move forward and you will get left behind, okay? So instead of spending time watching Netflix, okay, that's literally wasting time. If you do this day after day after day for hours on end, that's a waste of your time. And I know you know this, okay? You know that when you're wasting your time. Now that's a liability because you're throwing away time. You're throwing away time that is worth a lot. You can invest this time into educating yourself. You can invest this time into learning more about how to become more of an asset, okay? Become a weapon. You can become a weapon. You can take action and improve your life by focusing on assets instead of liabilities. So take an audit, take an honest audit of your life right now and weed out the places where you are leaking energy, leaking money, leaking resources, leaking time, okay? Try to free up tasks that you can complete in less time by perhaps outsourcing them or figuring out systems that can simplify the process for yourself, okay? Try to take an honest inventory of where you waste much of your energy and try to optimize this process for yourself, because that way you will start to leverage your time, you will start to leverage your skills, you will start to leverage your money, okay? Educate yourself on finances, you know? If you have $1,000 sitting in the bank, it's sitting there idle, not doing anything, you're losing money. That's a liability. To keep money in your savings account, okay, that you don't need, right? Okay, you want to have a fund that can take care of all the necessities, okay? Don't just spend all your money on crazy shit and then get into trouble. That's not what I'm saying. You want to maintain a certain amount of money that is sitting there that you can call on anytime it would be necessary, okay? Like an emergency fund. Keep that there, really important. But all the rest of your money that is sitting idle in your bank account, that is doing nothing, and it's depreciating. The inflation causes your money to be worth less, okay? 2% inflation every year, right? So your money, if it's sitting there, is becoming 2% worth less every single year. So that's a liability because it's costing you money. Now with $1,000, you can invest that in something that will bring you more energy, more time, more money. If you need a car, you can buy a car for $1,000, okay? You can buy the car, a second-hand car, and it can drive you to places, it can make you more free in your life, right? Then it becomes an asset. So think about this for yourself. It's a really important concept to understand, and if you want to read more about it, I highly recommend you check out Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's one of those books that everyone should read, in my opinion. It's one of the basics. It really teaches you mindset, money mindset, but not only money mindset, also just asset versus liability assets. It's really important to understand this, because you might find yourself constantly in situations where you are in scarcity, where you're in lack, nothing really seems to go right, and then you might realize that, hold on, most of the things in my life are liabilities. I am spending money on the maintenance, I'm spending energy on the maintenance, and I don't really have things that generate money, that generate energy, that generate time, that free up my time. So try to look at your life from that perspective and figure out what are your liabilities, what are your assets, and how can you decrease the amount of liabilities you have, and how can you increase the amount of assets you have. And like I said earlier, I'm currently really trying to figure out this for myself. So I'm doing this with the YouTube channel, I'm doing with this the book that I'm writing, I'm recording guided meditations, audio programs. So when these are finished, I can then start to sell them, I can put them online, and people who are interested, they can buy these things. Okay, people want to give something for a valuable product. You want to spend money on buying a good piece of clothing, for example. You want to spend that money because it brings you value, right? So create value in the world, become a weapon, develop skills, and leverage those skills to help you create assets instead of liabilities. All right, guys? So I'm very curious to hear about what are your biggest assets, what are your biggest liabilities. Leave them down below in the comments. I want to learn more about this. Perhaps you can give other people inspiration by listing your assets and liabilities that helps them improve their lives too. So definitely share yours in the comments down below. If you like this video, feel free to leave a thumbs up. This helps to expose the video to more people who might want to know more about this topic. And if you would like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to, 1, share this video with a friend you think might benefit from this message, and 2, click that subscribe button for me. That way you will get notified whenever I post a new video, and I get to see that the content we are putting out here is resonating with you as a person. Alright guys, I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.